I am absolutely astonished at the stupidity that I am seeing right now all over Facebook, all over Twitter. So let's get a few things straight so people know that actually there are things we already know and there are things that we don't know. There are things we understand, there are things we may never understand. But let's get one thing straight. Who is really responsible for these attacks? Now, depending on which way you look at it, do we blame our government? Yes. Yes, we do. French government, English government, British government, American government. We blame you all because you armed these men, these animals, these savages. You armed them. You gave them the weapons. You gave them the ability to create the onslaught of death that they caused in Paris. You did that. It's about time politicians were made to be held responsible for their parts in these atrocities. But let's not also forget, who else is dangerous? Who else is dangerous? I mean, it really isn't rocket science to work this out. The left. The left are dangerous. Not the so-called far right, the left. Why are the left to blame? What were the left doing in Paris over these attacks? What were they doing? They all came out and they sang. What did they sing? Because all of us love all of you. Who is all of you that you love? Who do you love? Do you love the bastards that went in and killed 129 innocent women and children? Do you love them? Because I sure as hell don't love them. And I hope they rot wherever they end up. I hope the ground that they are buried in eats them. And I hope that they suffer. I hope that they can feel every maggot and worm that crawls between them. But they won't, because they're dead, and I'm glad they're dead. But you're out there, so you might as well sing Kumbaya, my lord. That's how stupid the left are. Educate yourselves before you come out and you sing, we all of us love all of you. Go love all of them. Now, on the same token, the right are being a little bit stupid too. Why are the right being stupid? Because they're not using the benefit of knowledge of others. For example, several apostates who I have put out there, I've put out petitions for a guy who's got a petition up to let people leave Islam in the UK in peace without fear of death, threat or violence. And none of you want to support the guy. None of you. That man could tell you more about the threat you're facing than anybody else could ever tell you. The same as the guy who's an apostate sitting hiding in the back of the factory. He too can tell you more about the atrocities that we are facing than anybody else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just some of the little things that I've picked up on today. These are just one or two. Corbyn, a life is a life. Corbyn accuses mainstream media of ignoring Beirut, Ankara attacks and focusing more on Paris. Are they, Jeremy? Life's a bitch, isn't it? Isn't life a bitch? God forbid anybody want to show their compassion for the innocent people in Paris. No, we must support the ones you tell us to. In this country, we have a democratic right to support what we choose to support. And if people choose to support Paris, then that is their right too, Corbyn. You, sir, are an arse. And why anybody voted for you is beyond me. You are an embarrassment to this country. Some of the things you've said, I've even gone, yeah, I can see where it's coming from. But other than that, you're an arse. You're an absolute arse. So, we shut down that one. Let's open up the next one. It says here, Britain on terror alert. Special forces on streets of London as experts warn ISIS is using the PlayStation 4 network to recruit and plan attacks because it's more secure than WhatsApp. So we're on a high terror alert, are we? Well, we could have told you that a long time ago. Oh, no, that's right, we did. And we got called racist extremists for saying this is what you were going to face. We knew it. But every politician chose to ignore it. This is why politicians cannot be trusted. What have we then got? Islamic State. Now, I will say in fairness to this, Muslim mayor, now is the time to wipe out 50,000 ISIS fighters after Paris attacks. Fair play to him. But mate, you should have said that before innocent people were killed in France. Why say it now? Why now? Why weren't you saying it when ISIS was slaughtering other Muslims? Why weren't you saying it when ISIS were beheading people? Why now? Too close to home, is it? Will it rock your perfect little democratic society that many Muslims don't want? Will it rock that boat? Now, I say fair play to you for putting that out there. Fair play for you for saying it. And I will back you 100% in what you've said. ISIS do need wiping out. But if you think that ISIS is the only threat we're facing, you're wrong. You're wrong. They're here. They're here now. In our country. Hiding among the people of this country. Going to mosque with your everyday Muslim and praying to Allah. They're there. They're here. They've arrived. Do you get it? Slaughtering them now? Yep, wipe them all out. But if you think that will change it, you're wrong. You're wrong. It will not stop the attacks that are going to happen in this country. And mark my words, they are going to happen. Then we've got Paris attack. French Prime Minister warns that more attacks could come as rocket launcher found in pre-dawn police raids. Where did they get a rocket launcher from? Who sold them it? Who owned it in the beginning? Was it America? Was it England? Who owned it? Somebody sold it to them. Wasn't me. Was it one of my friends on Facebook? Everybody wants to go, you're all far right. Was it one of them? Nope. It must have come from the American or the British government. That's the truth of it, is it not? Then, because you can see I'm on one tonight. Sam Bailey. Now I'm not massively certain who Sam Bailey is. I've got to be honest. But she's obviously well known. She sent death threats for a post praised by Britain First, urging UK to close its borders. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying I support Britain First. I don't. But if somebody says something that I agree with, will I retweet it? Yep. Yeah, I will. Whether I like that person is irrelevant. Look, I've got comedians who I don't like. I don't find them funny. But I've retweeted things that they said when I've agreed with them. But you want to accept that her having death threats? Oh, no, that's all right. It's no big deal, is it? And let me tell you now, that made the newspaper. I've been getting death threats and rape threats and sodomy threats since I started talking out. What makes Sam more important than me? I'm curious. It's because I'm not famous. Because if that's notoriety and fame, you can keep it and you can shove it and I don't want it. That doesn't represent me. But fair play to her. She spoke out and everybody should be there retweeting the hell out of what she said. Because what are they going to do? Come and arrest all of us? You don't have enough room in your prisons to arrest all of us. The same as the march you saw in Poland. Yes, you're right. Everybody came together. Do you know why? Poland don't have groups. Poland don't have groups where one person feels loyalty to only one group. They came together united as independent individual people. And the people of this country won't get it, don't get it, and don't do it. Who's to blame for that? Who are you going to blame? Sorry, but it's the truth. You want this unity. You want these people to stand out in the streets. Then stop creating group after group after group after group. You weaken the country as a whole because you're creating teams. And when you were a kid at school, somebody was told, you're the captain, pick your team. And the chances are that your best mate got picked for a team and your other mate got picked for a team and you got picked for a different team. But you competed against your best mate to win. So when you create these groups, after group after group, you as the team captain are then saying you must compete against the other groups. Not rocket science. Stop the groups. Stop the groups. Maurice doesn't have multitudes of groups. Has one page. One. Why? Because you only need one to unite an entire country to stand and do things in the legal, lawful, justful way and actually make your voices echo right throughout Parliament. But no, can't do that. None of you seem to be able to understand that concept. You're far too busy saying, let's create another group. Well, I'm sorry, but you're weakening it. You are part of the problem too. Then you've got legal action against newspaper which published Islamic bastards. So because they published the word Islamic bastards on a newspaper in France, they're now being sued. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Well, if you're going to sue people, you better sue the shit out of me. Because I say they were Islamic bastards. I back what that French paper said 100% and some more. They were Islamic bastards. Now, the thing about this is, I was talking to the guy who made the video that went viral. I think it's like 4 million downloads. And I had a very long conversation with him on several occasions. He's actually a really nice guy, and his name is Haseeb. And to try and get him to understand where people like yourself and me are coming from and why we feel the way we do, instead of making it all complicated and going into the quotes of the Quran, I made it very simple. So for every Muslim out there who doesn't want this kind of violence, let me try and explain to you why the general public are as angry as they are. It's really not difficult to understand. So here I go. There are many Muslims who believe they are at war with the West. Now they claim it's over Afghanistan and Iraq. We have to remember that actually this war has been going on for 1400 years. But that aside, they believe now they are at war with the West. Now during the state of jihad, holy war, not the personal jihad, but the holy war of jihad, you are entitled to sex slaves. You can kill the unbeliever wherever you find them. You can attack anybody who insults the precious Prophet Muhammad. Now, if you believe you are at war, of course you will back and support what Islamic State stand for. To turn around and say these are not true Muslims, this was another conversation I had, and I tried to get it across to a lefty on my page called Nick G. Go check him out. He's actually a very nice guy, but he does like to try and twist things a little bit because he has a leftist mentality. Now, what I mean by they are not true Muslims, they are true Muslims. It is Muslims who don't want death, who don't want slaughter in the name of Allah. People like Haseeb who are saying they don't want ISIS. They want democracy. They want freedom of speech. They want all the things that this country, this culture has to offer. Now, in the eyes, if you look at the Quran itself, at the way in which they are apparently interpreting it, no, they are acting it in its literal form to the letter. But the difference is people like Haseeb who have evolved and moved with the times actually look at it in a historical way, not in an extreme way and say, yes, this is the literal way, we must do this. They kind of go, historically, yes, these things happened, but they don't belong right now in modern day society. Therefore, in the eyes of Muslims overall, people like Haseeb are actually bad Muslims because they're not doing this shit. And those who are doing it are actually good Muslims. So those who are defending and standing up and saying, they're not in our name, maybe not in your name, but they are acting it out in its literal form. Until you accept, acknowledge and address this issue, it will continue in your name, your Islamic faith's name. It will happen. And soon we will see the onslaught of innocent people in the UK, and we will be blamed for what Tony Blair did. We will be blamed for what David Cameron did. Why? Because we, the people, are the voters. The fact that we voted for Nigel Farage, 4 million votes, made no difference. Makes no difference. They hold us accountable. Therefore, they are within their rights in accordance to the Quran to do what they are doing. So accept it, acknowledge it, let's address it. We cannot address it while you hide it. I am so sick to death of the stupidity that I am seeing. Tweets of people saying, do not pray for Paris. Well, don't pray for Paris then. You pray for your Muslim brothers and sisters that we're getting the blame for. We told you, how many months ago did we say, Look at the immigrations. Look at the immigration. Look at who are in those boats. Because the majority were fighting fit, main-aged men. They were not innocent children and women and elderly. They're fighting fit jihadists. Welcome to the Third World War. Thank you, David Cameron. Thank you, Angela Merkel. Thank you for every politician who was too dumb stupid to put its people first. Were you stupid, or is this your plan all along? That's another thing I wonder. Is the idea to create a civil war? If you get your civil war, you get your rights, don't you, Cameron? To watch every little thing that a person does on the internet and give you access to absolutely everything everybody does. Welcome to the world of Big Brother. 1984. Get the book and read it, because you're living it right now. Now, if you want unity like you saw in Poland, quit with the groups. Get rid of the colours. Stop saying, I'm Britain's first, well, I'm media, well, I'm this and I'm that. I don't care. I don't care. You are not protecting, and that's what Maria's is about. Protect the future mothers of this country, no matter what skin colour they are. Protect the future generations by protecting the mothers of the future generations. But no, you're all too busy going out and flexing your muscles. Which one of you is the most powerful? Which one of you can be the leader? Well, do you know what? I will not back anyone who's stupid enough to not understand there is only one way to deal with this problem. Only one way. You get something misogynistic, you damn well better put something feministic out there to challenge it. But if you don't get that, you can't see that, you are not the person who should be backing me. You do not have to go and create a civil war. It's coming to you. So for every man out there who wants to go out and gun and just goes willy-nilly, shooting up, not knowing who the hell they're shooting at, that makes you stupid too. Because that's coming to you. You don't have to look for it. It will find you. And then you will have your moment. But I guarantee that most of you will hide behind a wall and fire those shots. And it will be innocent women and children that will be targeted when that civil war happens. It is the tool they use to control everything. Women and children. So why don't you start protecting the women and children and get behind them? Get behind them. We have more power than you can ever imagine. But you're too dumb, stupid to see it. Why do you think someone like Baroness Cox is the person? You get behind that bill. Get behind her and support her. Get her name out there. She's a powerful woman, a passionate woman with a heart the size of an ocean. She cares about people. Regardless of faith, creed or colour, she cares about people. And she's right to challenge Sharia law in this country. But no, you're all too busy going, let's all get this and let's all do this. Well, do you know what? A whole lot of talking is what I see. A whole lot. And the other thing that's really annoying me right now, and as you can see, I'm really on one tonight. Stop insulting so-called keyboard warriors, right? There are a difference between the keyboard warrior that's putting the information out to educate you for knowledge, for things that you didn't know. And without them, you wouldn't have that information. They are different to the keyboard warrior that goes, let's bomb them all. Let's go and attack them all. Let's go and get guns and start hacking their heads off. You are keyboard warriors. You are the people who sit there and go, let's do this and let's do that. But actually you do it from the safety and the comfort of an armchair. But don't insult the good keyboard warriors out there who are actually giving you the information you need. Now that man's petition, who's an apostate, again, I've shared it today on my Facebook. Get it pushed out, get it signed. Because these apostates know more about Islam and the extremism of Islam than any one of you could ever imagine to know. Protect those people. They are the people who are the key to all of this. So stop being stupid. All of you, stop being stupid. Another little group will not rectify any of this. It's just another group and another person going, well, I'm loyal to that group and I can't be seen to be so important in that group because I'm loyal to that group. I don't care about groups. Don't have me in anymore. I don't want them. I want to see people dropping colours. I want to see people standing independently, waving just a Union Jack in support of the United Kingdom. And that includes every person who lives in this country that supports the democracy and the rights of the people of this country. It does not judge a person by skin colour alone. And those of you who do, get off my page, because I don't want you. So on that note, happy Monday, everybody. My heart goes out to every person who lost somebody in Paris. Every person. Be you French, English, I don't care. For every person who died at the hands of Muslim, Islamic terrorists. Dress it up any way you like. Because whether you believe them to be a true Muslim or a non-true Muslim, they are in fact Muslim. There's no such thing as this Muslim and that Muslim. They are just Muslims. And some Muslims do bad shit. And you've got a hell of a lot of Muslims doing a lot of bad shit right now. And those who are not doing the bad shit, get with people like Marius and stand up and say, we demand that these Muslims are addressed. We as Muslims acknowledge they are Muslims, they are terrorists, and we will stamp it out together. But if you don't do that, you don't stand with groups like Marius, you are as radical as the next, you are as extreme as the next, and you are as culpable as the next. So on that note, everybody have a fantastic week. Right now, I'm still really angry. People, stop being stupid. Start using your thinking capabilities. I'm so angry, I'm stumbling over words. I'm so sorry about that. Start using this. This is key. Education. We have time. The left, stop being blinded by holding hands and singing around a log fire and the whole world is beautiful and we've got the whole world in our hands. Because right now, we don't even have our countries in our hands. So educate yourselves. And you need to accept responsibility because actually you are partly to blame for the actions of every extremist for your refusal to acknowledge they are extremists. Take care. Till next time.